Hey everybody, I'm Joe. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm here with a replay of a match against Mono Black Devotion. Not a deck that you see very often, but a pretty cool one. So looking at the opening hands, I've got 3 lands, Spreading Seas, Echoing Truth, Dismember, only 1 creature, but I've mentioned before in previous videos that I tend to keep these hands. We play these spells, Spreading Seas, Echoing Truth, Dismember, for a reason. We don't need a ton of pressure at the beginning. If we've got interactive spells that can slow the opponent down, we'll have plenty of time to draw into other creatures. On the opponent's side, pretty sketchy. They have 2 Thought Seizes to take me off of any spells that they think are threatening. Phyrexian Obliterator is going to take 3 more swamps. Grey Merchant's going to take 4 more lands. I have to imagine they mulligan this one. Okay, so they did mulligan. Another 1-lander here. Don't know how many lands this kind of a deck plays, but they do have Dismember here, 2 Thought Seizes still, and a lower curve in this hand than in the previous hand, and they'll get to Scry. Maybe this is up. They went down to 5 here. So Inquisition and Vampire with the Scry, has to be a keep. So he likes what he saw on the top. The opponent's on the play. They're going to open with Swamp. So this is an interesting line. I actually think it's kind of in the minority of actual applications, but most people run out their hand disruption on turn 1, but some people choose to wait for turn 2. In that way, you get to see more cards typically of the opponents. You do kind of waste the tempo of your first turn, but in this instance, the opponent got to see an extra card. He got to see the Lord of Atlantis. So let's see what he chooses to take here. So he gives it a good look, and in the end, he chose to take that card that I just drew, Lord of Atlantis. So good on him for waiting until turn 2 to cast Inquisition of Kozilek. Very interesting line. Not sure if it's optimal, guys. As usual, let me know what you think about these plays. I'm going to reveal Merrow Reejerey and play Spreading Seas on one of those swamps. I know that. Mono Black Devotion. So at this point, this deck can either be Mono Black Devotion or potentially 8-rack. I guess it could theoretically be Jund. They do play 2 basic swamps, but the odds of the opponent only having 2 basic swamps playing Jund are really, really low. So the opponent plays Phyrexian Arena here. Going to try to start drawing more cards. Certainly something that will help their current situation. On my side, I draw a second Merrow Reejerey, and it's definitely correct to play out one of them here. Alright, so the opponent's going to lose 1 life on their upkeep, draw a swamp off the arena, and draw another swamp. A little bit clunky, but at this point, they've got the Vampire Nighthawk to play, so as long as they hit some gas off the arena, they're going to be doing okay still. Alright, so Nighthawk hits the battlefield. I don't know why he keeps detaching my seas, but I'm going to give it back to him. Alright, I drew a Wanderwine Hub, not the best top deck. I now have 6 lands. I'm gonna, let's see. So play the Reejerey, untap my land, could have tapped the Nighthawk, but instead, I think I'm just going to sort of try to time walk him here and force him to use his next turn playing out the Vampire Nighthawk again. So I will Echoing Truth the Nighthawk and swing for 3 with the Reejerey. Alright, the opponent's life total is going to tick down again with the arena, and looks like the opponent drew another swamp and yet another Nighthawk. They'll only be able to play 1 of them this turn though, and unable to attack yet, they just pass it back to me. Now I'm really hoping to draw a Merfolk because I'll get 2 tap triggers, but unfortunately I drew an AEther Vial, just as good as the lands that I've been drawing. Alright, so not much to do, so pass back to the opponent. I'm keeping this Dismember up because I'm aware at this point the opponent is playing Mono Black Devotion, and Phyrexian Obliterator is the biggest threat by far. Actually, pretty much the sole reason that card doesn't see more play, I think, is because of the existence of Dismember, and I guess Path to Exile. It's, I think, a 5/5 that if it's dealt damage, the controller of the source of that damage has to sacrifice that many permanents or something. So it's just really outrageous card if left unchecked. The opponent has drawn 2 more Vampire Nighthawks. Looks like that's what's going to happen here this turn. Swings with 1 of them. I lose 2 and the opponent gains 2 and plays out another one. It would have been good to hold on to that Echoing Truth. So I draw, finally, Merfolk here, and I'm going to get some tap triggers and some elementals. So tap those 2 life linkers. Don't want any of that happening. Going to get 3 or 4 elementals here because of the Spreading Seas. Swing for 6, the opponent will go down to 10. And with this clock and the Phyrexian Arena helping me along, looks like I'm doing pretty well in this situation. I do have access to the Dismember here if the opponent draws anything great off the arena. With nothing else to do, they try to resolve Inquisition, but in response I'll just cast Dismember, getting rid of one of his Nighthawks. After that they play out Whip of Erebos. This is a card we don't see too often in Modern. They play it in Mono Black Devotion because it's got 2 black mana symbols, and actually gives it some pretty good resilience. It gives all its creatures lifelink. In this case it's redundant because the Nighthawks already have lifelink, and that's an ability that doesn't stack. But they can tap 4 mana, including 2 black, and tap this thing to return a creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, so it can attack, and then you exile it at the beginning of the next end step. So they have to do that as a sorcery, and so the idea with this is recurring, especially Grey Merchant, because when he comes back to the battlefield, he gets to drain life all over again. And if we count the devotion at this point, it's getting a little bit crazy. We've got 2 times 4, so it's got 8 devotion. So if he lands any Grey Merchants, there's going to be an 8-point life swing. But at this point, I think the opponent just has to pass and hope to have good blocks. I'm again hoping to draw a Merfolk, and I do. So of course I'm just going to play that out, tap the opponent's creatures, and that's the end of game 1. Let's go ahead and see how game 2 went. All right, looking at the opening hands, the opponent mulliganed quickly. I'm going to have to mulligan as well. This looks like it's going to be another mulligan for the opponent. So I mulled, got a great hand after that. I'm going to get to scry. Man, the opponent is on pretty poor hands this game. So he put Go for Throat on the bottom of the library. He's looking for another land at this point, but he is on the play. I'm on the draw. He's going to run out the swamp and pass the turn. I draw into a Cursecatcher, which is great because I have a turn 1 play now. Opponent misses his land drop. Is going to go with Inquisition instead. I'm going to sack Cursecatcher because I like what I have in my hand. I'm going to go ahead and play Spreading Seas on his only swamp. Opponent draws a swamp. Can't do anything though. Passes it back to me, and I will play out an AEther Vial and another Spreading Seas. Looks like the opponent's probably just going to scoop it up soon. Doesn't draw a black source, and I think has just about had it. Yeah, so I think the opponent had to mulligan pretty hard in both games, but it just gives you an idea of what Black Devotion is up to, Mono Black Devotion. So if you guys haven't seen that deck before, it's just a taste of, what to look for. Grey Merchant of Asphodel is probably their biggest payoff card, but Phyrexian Obliterator is quite a powerhouse. So yeah, share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the matchup. Let me know what you think about the deck, Mono Black Devotion. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again.